Hello, everybody. This is Frank with Iron Age News. It is Sunday, June 1st. Happy Pride Month, babies. You're not going to be able to get away from it now. But speaking of other jokes, there's been a large number of videos. We only usually bring this up to debunk once there's more than 25 or 30 of a disinformation video. So we've gotten to about 30 disinformation videos on the subject of tourists are not coming to the United States because Trump. Tourists are not coming to the United States because ICE. And that is not true at all. Absolutely not. Bet you a dollar. And we're going to talk about what's going on because we've gone through the tourism information. The good thing about Florida is we have a well documented tourist system and an out of control real estate registry. So we know a couple things here. And that's about it. After that, we don't know anything. Trust me. So you have to ask yourself, what is this all about? So people in New York are saying that the visitors are not coming because of Trump and because of ICE, because they're afraid of being pulled over and beaten and this and that and the other thing. Well, that's not the case because how are they getting into the United States in the first place? And here's a number for you. As of June of this year, the United States, and this is straight from their documentation from the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol, the United States requires citizens of approximately 150 countries to obtain a visa prior to visiting for tourism. Conversely, citizens of 42 countries are eligible to travel to the United States for tourism or business purposes for stays of up to 90 days without a visa under the visa waiver program, provided they secure prior approval through the Electronic System for Travel Authorization, the ESTA. So we'll tell you what countries were able to get this and what it means, because this is one of the things that is out there. And this is the visa waiver program. It's basically similar to the TSA pre-check. I'll make it easy for you that does to do that. On the list, there's the UK, France, Germany, most of the EU. And as far as the Pacific Rim, Australia, Japan, South Korea, Singapore, New Zealand, Thailand, Taiwan, and a couple of others. Chile, Israel, and believe it or not, Qatar. Amazing, right? It's important to note, and this is from them too, important to note that Canada and Bermuda are not part of that program, but have separate agreements allowing their citizens to enter the U.S. for tourism without a visa under most circumstances. Okay, now, countries not included must apply for a B2, Bravo 2 tourist visa for traveling to the United States. And there's a number of countries that have that. So there's no way to just walk onto a plane and get here and then be jumped by the customs people unless you were flagged somewhere along the line under that program. You can still have a flag against you. Like when you applied for the program, you weren't an active terrorist, but now you are an active terrorist, and the computer just picked up on it the last day or two. So yeah, you will be bound up and taken out of the country. This is actually standard in most other countries. If you ever visit anywhere in South America, I will say we'll use the example of Colombia. You fill out a thing called checkmate before you go, and it says, when do you leave? When do you come back? Where are you staying while you're there? Where are you staying? So they ask that question. Some people in the United States get the vapors and they're like, oh, we're big brother, we're asking where they're staying. Most countries ask you where you're staying. It's a part of the deal. Okay. So don't get crazy. They say this on videos in the United States because a large amount of the United States citizens do not travel outside of the country, believe it or not. So it sounds sort of Gestapo-ish since everybody uses those terms, but it's not. Okay. So there's your part of your situation. So you have to have a visa unless you're a country that does not have to have a visa. If you come here, they will also check you at the border, meaning the customs, going by your passport, obviously, because we don't accept driver's licenses from other countries. And if you are flagged, you are going home. All right. That's pretty straightforward. That is the same exact thing that will happen to you if you're a United States citizen and you're going to another country. My favorite one is with Brazil. you have to go and show them a copy of your bank's statement that shows you have a certain amount of money in the bank. And then that's part of the deal when you go and apply for a visa to go there. So that has to go into your passport book. Okay. So that whole story is a lie. If they're saying that you're getting profiled when you're in the country visiting, probably a lie as well, because ICE knows who it's going after. If anyone thinks they're just sitting around in a corner waiting for people like soliciting for prostitution, it's not happening that way at all. Okay. It is not happening that way at all. So it's kind of a lie. I guess we could say it's a lie. It's a fucking lie. And people that are doing these videos, of course, are in places like New York City or Chicago. And it's like, well, who visits Chicago for any reason, right? But I guess at some point back in the 30s, people did. So I'm not quite sure where the story is with that. But the most important thing you're going to see, there are two. One's social, one's economic. Economically, the US dollar right now is very strong against the currencies of most of the countries that would visit here. Latin America, parts of Africa, and then the EU, which means they have less buying power when visiting the US, regardless of the immigration laws. Okay. So a lot of tourists are staying home because it's more expensive to visit the US. And then what do we have to offer if you were to watch videos? We have surging crime. This is the big cities, drug use in public spaces, rampant homelessness, riots every other day by left-wing nut jobs and terrorists, right? Open air theft and looting. Okay, if you're a foreign tourist and you see this, you don't want to be a part of that. Years ago, Miami area used to have a lot of German tourists. And at some point, the idiots on Channel 7 did this thing that says German tourists carry a lot of cash money on them. I'm greatly simplifying the show. And also that they get rental cars. And here's what a rental car driver's license or license plate looks like. So they started robbing German tourists and eventually they killed a few of them. So the Germans stopped coming. The Germans didn't get upset with the beach. They didn't get upset with the sand. They weren't upset with the fish. They were upset with getting robbed and murdered by the Americans. That's what gets people to stop visiting your country. Lawlessness and bullshit like that. This guy in the one video, he's like, I'm going through Chinatown and nobody's out. Nobody's out because people are afraid to go out. You don't have a police force up there, pretty much, right? The gangs of socialists are just running rampant all over the place. You have flash mobs that are stealing things all over the place. Tell me I'm wrong, but somehow tell me this is the fault of the Trump administration's immigration policy. It is absolutely not that, right? And yet people will tell you that. People will say, oh, I don't want to get on the bus because somebody may take a deuce on the chair next to me or pee all over the place, right? There's garbage and tents lying around in cities like Los Angeles and San Francisco. A friend of mine's in San Francisco. He says they have a shit detector. It's an app. It tells you where there's piles of human shit all over the city. Look it up. Why would you want to go there? Granted, Paris is about as bad as that, but at least it's Paris. It's not LA or San Francisco, right? So anything that would be a tourist attraction for the average bus tour kind of person is now a danger, is an ambush, is all this kind of stuff. If they were to come here, they would want to probably do what they've been doing, is renting an Airbnb, going to Costco, buying all their stuff, cooking in their houses, and sitting in the backyards near the swimming pools. That's how it's done around here. They don't go up, the ones with money, let's put it that way, do not go out and hang around a lot. If you go up to the beach, it's the poorer people from Brazil, and they won't get out from under the chicky huts. So the locals complain. All right. But this is all just bullshit. I know they have to blame somebody other than themselves, but this goes along with our story of debunking nonsense, same as we did with the 220A document from immigration, same as we did with the certified payroll issues. It is all part of the same nonsense factory. And if you are dumb enough to fall for it, I can't help you. You should see the heat you get when you put something up like this because they would keep saying, no, no, it can't be that. It can't be that. Everybody wants to come to a worker's paradise. No, they don't. They absolutely don't want to do that. So you thinking about yourself, but I mean, this is shit that you couldn't pull the wool over a 12-year-old's eyes with this, but you can definitely get these 30-some-year-old asshole overeducated people in New York to go for it. So anyway, that's about it. Have a good day. Bye.